I've been in practice for 10 years. And I actually was just saying this. I was treating another RMT yesterday, and she's had some major surgeries in the last year or so. So, we were working a little bit on scar tissue and stuff. And I said something along the lines of, well, I'm going to be doing this really slowly and really gently. And she said, well, that's how I practice. So I appreciate that. I wasn't going in trying to, restore full range of motion in one treatment and destroy her. Right. It was very slow and very gentle. But, she came in with this, and, nobody can see me right now, but, I'm just, abducting my shoulder and not getting very much range. And she left with this. So we did something. It was slow. It was gentle. I wasn't killing her. And I said, early in my practice, I did think that I had to be, this deep tissue and do all of this crap. And, I think that coming from the personal training world too, I had that no pain, no gain mentality. And finally, after, practicing for so long, I realized this actually doesn't have to be like this. Nothing has to be so uncomfortable. Nothing has to be so aggressive. And like you said, I don't have to do 7 million different things with a person on the table. A couple of different, mobilizations or something. I'm like, oh, look what that did.
So
cool.
what's your advice then? Not advice, but what is from the experience piece that you would have to say to the therapist who still now takes pride in, I'm so deep, I put a lot, everyone leaves and they cry on my table, that type of thing?
Well,
what do you say to them?
I also think there's still space for that therapist.
Yes,
and there's going to be
definitely,
people, there's going to
definitely.
be people who maybe don't agree, but because there are people out there
Who feel like it's
who
beneficial for
say,
them.
I want deep, I have clients who say, I want deep pressure. I feel like if I don't feel it the next day, you didn't do anything. And I try to have a discussion with them, and maybe change their mindset
Yep.
a little bit. But if that's what somebody wants, they want you to stick your elbow in their back, then that's what they want. You can, as the therapist, tell them this isn't necessarily what your body needs, but if that's what they want, that's what they want. So I think there's still space for the super aggressive therapist. I don't understand that pride piece. I have to be honest with
wearing
you.
it like it's
like,
a
yeah,
badge of honor.
the clients or the therapists who are like, oh, all of my clients say that they're crying when they get treatment from me. I'm like, well, is that a good thing? I don't know.
And I think there's a time and a place.
Absolutely.
I mean, I deal with the full spectrum. If I had to treat my mother-in-law who's 87 for a knee injury, I'm going to go in pretty soft. She's not going to respond to that ultra aggressive input. Whereas I work with Rugby Canada, I work with a ton of guys from the rugby team, and these guys are massive, and they're going to expect for the idea that I'm going to go in there with a little more force, be a little more aggressive. My biggest shift is I'm attuned to it with everyone. I know that I probably have to take a step back, and I'm not as quick to go in and throw everything and anything at them right away. I think that's the biggest mistake I made in the training piece. I was a strength coach. So I was a strength coach at East Tennessee State for years, and I did the biomechanics piece. And so everything was mechanical and more stuff. And again, my biggest shift is I become a fascial nerd and a neurology nerd, because I think those two components of how we treat should drive everything.
Where did the nerdness come from?
So Rock Tape, I'm going to tell you that we have a core of guys, Mark, that are quite simply some of the top people